Hello! In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the benefits of YoloLiv's new Ardent Streaming Protocol, and why it's a great way to create a highly reliable live stream for your viewers. In order to understand the benefits that ASP brings to your live stream, let's take a quick look at how a normal live stream works and where most connection issues come from. In most cases, we've had a computer or standalone encoder that encodes and sends our video out over the internet using the Real-Time Messaging Protocol, or RTMP. And that gets sent to your live streaming host, like Facebook or YouTube, and they then process and distribute that video to your viewers from their website. This is how it works for just about every streaming solution. So for example, if you're using something like OBS or vMix on a computer, or even creating a regular stream from any of the YoloBox devices, you're using an RTMP connection between your encoder and the servers of your live streaming host. Now, where most live streams run into problems is in that connection from your encoder to your destination server. It's usually the upload path and your connection into the internet that is the weakest link in the whole chain. And that's because there are so many potential causes in this section of the network for issues. It could be radio interference on your Wi-Fi connection, or a router or modem could be having any number of problems, or even something like too much jitter in your service provider's network. That's where packets of data are received too far out of sequence. But what all of those problems boil down to is packet loss. Packets of data that have been sent from your encoder to your live streaming host are getting dropped somewhere on your network. And unfortunately, the RTMP protocol that we have been using for live streaming isn't very capable of dealing with packet loss. And that's where the Ardent Streaming Protocol comes in. It's been designed to keep your encoded video getting from your YoloBox through to the YoloCast servers, even in the presence of less than ideal network connections. So let's do a comparison and see what happens to both an RTMP stream and the ASP stream in the presence of dropped packets and disruptions to the network. I've set up a sort of test lab here to show what happens when we have packet loss. I have a laptop with OBS that we'll use to create an RTMP stream, and we'll compare that to this YoloBox Pro that has ASP. I've set this up so that both of these devices are connected to the internet through a Linux server that I can use to inject packet loss onto their connection. And I have a third computer here that I'm going to use to monitor the streams on YouTube and Facebook. I will say this isn't a real scientific test. Obviously, with both my RTMP and ASP streams going out to the YouTube and Facebook, there's some big parts of this setup I don't really have any control over, namely what's on the actual internet. But I think this will give you a really clear idea of how well ASP works to maintain your live stream, even in the presence of adverse conditions, and how those same conditions can cause big problems for RTMP streams. On both the YoloBox Pro and in OBS, I'm going to be playing back a video of a concert that we recently live streamed at my church, rather than just showing a camera feed, because I want you to hear what happens with the audio. And one of the first things that happens with a small amount of packet loss on an RTMP stream is that sometimes you get glitches that can cause your audio and video to go out of sync. So I've started a live stream to Facebook, and I've put 10% packet loss on the network. And what I have here in the background is a ping to my router that will give you an idea of how much the network is dropping packets. When you see this request timeout, that's data that didn't get through. And already we're starting to see that OBS is reporting dropped frames on the network. And so if we look at the actual live stream on Facebook, we start to see that it's starting to glitch and pause. And even when it comes back, the audio and video is just a little bit out of sync. And there it keeps having to buffer. Now I'm going to put in 15% packet loss. So now we can see that we're starting to get more packets dropped on the network, and in OBS, the frames dropped on the network is turning red. And now when we look at the live stream, we're getting a lot more buffering. Almost to the point where it wouldn't be watchable by the viewer. And now when I put in 20% packet loss, we'll see that the stream pretty much becomes unusable. And pretty quickly, we just get into buffering here with 20% packet loss. And this is pretty much unwatchable for the viewer. So if we create an RTMP live stream to YouTube, even at 5% packet loss, it starts to look like it's playing back at a slower frame rate. And at 10% packet loss, it starts to buffer. At 15% packet loss, the buffering even gets longer. And then again, at 20% packet loss, pretty much we lose the stream altogether. It's just sitting here buffering all the time. So now let's run a live stream from the YoloBox Pro to YouTube and Facebook, but instead of RTMP, we're going to be using YoloCast and ASP. To create our ASP stream, in YoloCast, first we'll create a new event and enter all the usual information. But for source, we'll select the new ASP option. You need to start the event on YoloCast first, even before we've connected the YoloBox. Once the event starts, it will show that it's waiting for the connection from the YoloBox. So now on the YoloBox, we'll make sure the connection to YoloCast is selected, and we'll go live. It will now take about 2 minutes before we see our stream show up in the YoloCast interface. And this is something to be aware of. Your stream will be at least 2 minutes delayed. This allows YoloCast to process your stream and deal with any drop packets that need to be resent. And once those buffers have been created, our live stream will go live through YoloCast. So now we'll put in 10% packet loss for the ASP stream. So we can see we're still getting that 10% packet loss on the network, but then our live stream at 10%, it's just working perfectly fine with ASP. We're not getting any glitches or audio and video out of sync, and for the end viewer, they're not even aware that there is any issue at all. And now let's put in 20% packet loss for the ASP stream. So again, you can see we're getting more packet loss on the network, but our live stream still remains unaffected. It's getting through to the viewer as if nothing's happening. And if you remember, that's compared to at 20%, it was completely unwatchable when we were using an RTMP stream. Now, if I were to leave this running with 20% packet loss for an extended amount of time, eventually the ASP buffers would give out and we would start to have some pausing on the viewer's end. But one of the nice features of ASP is that once the connection is restored, the viewer will pick up where they left off. So the buffering that occurs on the YoloBox and on the YoloCast server end will keep track of where the break in content occurred and make sure your viewers get the full video. Disruptions in your network can cause the buffer on the YoloCast end to start to get depleted. But as long as the network is restored in time, the YoloBox will send data at a faster pace to refill the YoloCast buffer until it's back to a safe level. And then the data rate will resume as normal. ASP is a streaming protocol that trades a little bit of delay in your stream for a whole lot of insurance that you're going to have amazing quality and reliability. Another example here, we could completely remove the Cat5 cable, and so effectively 100% packet loss. And as long as we restore the connection before the buffers are exhausted, you won't see any disruption to your stream. So what are some of the ramifications of using ASP? One is that before ASP, I have generally tried to avoid using Wi-Fi when live streaming because of the potential for packet loss due to RF interference. With a standard RTMP stream, if you have some RF interference that even briefly causes packet loss, as you can see from this demonstration, it doesn't take much to cause a problem for your viewers. But with ASP, a Wi-Fi connection can be just as reliable as being hardwired. And the same would apply even to the cellular link through the YoloBox Pro's SIM card capability. And just in general, even with a hardwired connection, using ASP is going to give you peace of mind about your live stream not having connection issues, and it's going to provide your viewers with a really stable video to watch without glitches or other problems. It's important to note that any video streaming protocol, RTMP, ASP, or whatever, is still going to be limited by your upload bandwidth. ASP doesn't magically give you more bandwidth on your connection. You still need to be aware of what your upload bandwidth is and set your bitrate accordingly within those constraints. I will say though that with ASP, you may be able to utilize more of your bandwidth than you could with RTMP. With an RTMP stream, the conventional wisdom was to not use a bitrate that is more than half of your upload speed. So if you have a 6 megabits per second upload connection, you'd not want to use more than 3 megabits per second bitrate. And this is to allow for overhead and other traffic on your network to keep your upload connection from getting congested. But what happens on your upload connection when it gets congested? You get dropped packets and packet loss. So with ASP, you can safely push your bitrate closer to your actual upload speed and not have to be as concerned that if some temporary congestion occurs on the network, it's going to cause problems with your stream. I hope you've seen the power of the Ardent Streaming Protocol and its ability to push through problems on your network and deliver a strong, reliable live stream. Until next time, bye.